let's look at the political pressure these wavering Democrats are. And look, let's face it, this is all about convincing Democrats now, because you won't get a single Republican vote. But you have one of your strongest union allies, SEIU, running this ad against those who are voting no.
By voting for healthcare reform, Arcuri will reduce healthcare costs for families and small businesses and stop insurance companies from getting rich by denying coverage and hiking premiums. Call Congressman Arcuri. Tell him to stand up for us, not the insurance companies.
Now, Congressman Arcuri is a Democrat who has said he is going to vote no. Isn't it a little bit kamikaze for your allies to be going out and targeting Democrats who are going to face very tough races in the midterms?
Listen, people feel very strongly about this issue, and we sadly are going to have to do this alone as a Democratic Party, but it's our moment to lead. And I do think in the short term and in the long term, this is going to be seen most importantly for the country, but the politics for a party, because, again, politics are about comparisons. And so I think that we are going to, listen, for a variety of reasons. We've got a tough economy. We've run a lot of races, so we've got a lot to defend. We're going to have a tough election. But I think our election outcome in 2010 can be a lot better than a lot of the pundits think.
But is it
bypassing health care?
Would you ask your union allies to back off and not to target these are the most vulnerable Democrats in the House right now and tell them not to be running against them? I mean, you have already threats to rescind endorsements, to endorse independent candidates. Is it time for the unions to back off?
Well, listen, I think we're trying to get the votes to pass health insurance reform, and we're not there yet. Obviously, we still got the vote to take place, but it looks like we're getting very close. I think once the vote's over, obviously we're going to go out there and figure out how to help Democrats win elections, and I think we're going to have a much better election.
Including those that voted no? Are you going to help those that voted no win re-election?
Of course we are. A lot of them support us on the Recovery Act, on the energy bill. They'll have to make their own case to the constituents and volunteers in their district about why they should be
So you'll be going up against the unions in some of these races?
Listen, I think it's going to depend race by race. But I think we're committed. A lot of these people who don't vote for health care, by the way, we're getting the majority of the Democratic caucus in both the House and the Senate for health insurance reform, as we did for the Recovery Act, as we did for the Energy Act. And by the way, this is a big moment in our country. Economic calamity. We've got these long-term problems like health care and energy that will determine our future. The Republican Party, for the most part, is not lifting an oar to help ROA. And I think what they're doing is,
David,
no, it is not,
Carl. With all due respect, that is bunk. That is complete bunk. Republicans have offered a positive alternative in health care, and you didn't bother to have one meeting between March 5th of 2009 and February 25th of 2010 to discuss how the White House could involve some of those Republican ideas in the bill. Don't give us that bunk. That is another one of those false arguments offered by the White House. In fact, you know what? The way that you have sold this bill to Democrats by threatening them, you cannot tell me that the White House didn't sanction some of these groups like MoveOn.org and others to make these kind of threats against Democrats. We do know that the White House sent out unsolicited emails to federal employees asking them to contact their legislators about this bill. I think that's not only a violation of the CAN-SPAM Act on emails, I think it's a violation, more importantly, of the anti-lobbying statutes, and that's the kind of techniques that you've been using on this bill. Threats, hardball politics, and if need be, withholding the support of the President of the United States from Democrats. You said earlier this week, the White House did, that the President would be campaigning actively and raising money for Democrats who supported that bill. That is a thinly disguised bribe.
Is that right?
This is just outrageous. No. The President has been he's working very hard on this.
It's in the newspapers, man.
Yeah, well,
it's in the newspapers.
trust me.
The White House political office leaked it to the press, saying the White House policy will provide the President to go campaign for those who vote for the bill.
Well, settle it right now. The President will be campaigning for...
That is a thinly described bribe.
Okay, so the President will be campaigning for Democrats who vote no?
I'm sure he'll be out there helping people who vote yes on this, who vote no on this, people who voted yes on the Recovery Act, which, by the way, Carl claimed is a failed program. The economy's growing.
2.8 million jobs have been lost
still
since
working
it was passed.
because of this.
That's right, government jobs.
Yeah.
Government jobs. You promised us that 90% of those jobs would be in the private sector. And you promised us 4 million jobs.
Okay,
2.8 million have been lost since that bill was passed.
Let's get him to respond.
So, no, but listen, you want to talk about the fall elections, okay? We're going to have a great debate, okay? It's going to be about health care reform, and I think that's a debate that we are positioned to win. It's also going to be about, listen, people have a very clear memory about what it was like under Republican leadership, okay? The policies that created huge deficits, that devastated the middle class. You've got the leader of the House Republicans.
David is right. David is right that we will have a debate over
Carl,
health
let's
care.
let him finish.
This is a debate that they have lost over the last year.
Carl,
they have lost this debate over the last year.
Carl, David.
The leader of the House Republicans, who would be the speaker if they won, has been shaking down Wall Street saying, hey, we're the guys trying to protect you. Protect your pay. Wait, this is important. Protect your pay. Who are fighting against banking reform.
This election
we
will
are-
be about health care if this bill passes. If this
Carl,
bill passes,
we're
it will
almost
be
out of
about
time.
healthcare.
I want to get both of you to respond
this is
to
a debate
something.
the Democrats have lost.
Okay, I want to get both of you to respond to something. This is a poll that came out about what Americans think about the process here. And this is a Kaiser Family Foundation poll about the prosecuting healthcare past. Only 19% said they believe the process is working as intended, and 73% said the process is broken. Frankly, I think a lot of Americans listening to this debate right here might agree exactly with that 73% who say the process is not working. So my question to you, David, isn't that in some sense an indictment of President Obama since he got elected, promising to change this system?
Well, he's trying to. First of all, in almost every poll out there, well over 60% of the American people believe that President Obama is trying to work with the Republicans. The converse is true. Well over 60% of the people believe the Republicans aren't reciprocating. And worse than that, it's not because of principle. They believe it's because of raw, naked politics. So he's trying. He's making his executive branch more transparent, lessening the influence of lobbyists. So he's going to continue to work, by the way, on immigration, on education, on some of the energy ideas. I think we have an opportunity to work in a bipartisan fashion, and he's going to look for that opportunity each and every day.
Carl, we're almost out of time, but don't Republicans bear some blame for this?
Indictment. This is an indictment of the president. He held a bicameral, bipartisan meeting on March 5th of 2009 to talk with people about health care reform. The next time he had a substantive meeting with Republicans to talk about health care reform was the Blair House Kabuki drama on February 25th of 2010. You cannot go for 51 weeks shutting the Republicans out of the debate and claim that you provided leadership. He has been aloof, distant, detached. This bill is based on Bernie Madoff economics and includes things that he campaigned against Hillary Clinton and Bill and John McCain on during the campaign. And it is a bad bill for America, and we will fight the election on this, and the Democrats will have significant losses in the House and Senate as a result of this bill.
You have 10 seconds.
Well, listen, Carl and a lot of Republicans want to call the election all over. They ought to break out that mission accomplished banner they put on the USS Abraham Lincoln, okay? This
right,
healthcare reform is good for the
watching.
people.
That is cheesy,
It's
David.
good for
That
people,
banner was
and it's going to
honoring
be
the
good for our
USS
party.
Abraham
Okay.
Lincoln for the longest mission
Karl
of a
Rove?
nuclear aircraft carrier in American history, and you should not denigrate the mission of the USS
Yeah, it was,
Abraham
Carl.
Lincoln like you just did.
Karl Rove
Denigrating
joining
tax.
us from Indianapolis. Carl, thanks for joining us on This Week. David Plouffe, thank you very much.